Oh, that's been a minute.
Yeah, I know.
That has been a minute.
You want to try this? It's not caffeinated.
Mine doesn't sound that much.
What is yours? Gatorade water,
Gatorade
0
water.
calorie.
That was kind of seductive, a little.
It was seductive.
Wait for it. No, that one was not as good.
No, it wasn't good. This, bro, I found this at Harmon's. It is protein, carbonated protein that tastes like an energy drink, but it has no caffeine, but it has 25 grams of protein in
It's
this.
bucked up.
Yeah, try this. And every flavor is good. There's like 5 flavors.
Fuck.
You can put in your mouth. I don't give a shit.
I know, but I'm like a germer.
Oh, okay. Got it. I'm like, I'm not. I'm just like, just drink it.
I tasted it. I don't want to spill anymore. But now that's on my shirt, it does taste like banana pineapple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really good.
That is for sure. Interesting.
Yes.
25 grams of protein with no caffeine. How much was it? Let me guess. Is it like $3.27?
Yeah, ish, but cheaper than like a what is it called? Premier Protein or like the chocolate milks are like $5.
Yeah.
So and this goes down a little bit smoother.
That's what she said.
Ha!
Ha!
That was a good
Got
one.
him.
That was a good one.
We're back.
We're back. We're back.
We're back.
So we're reviewing a movie. Welcome back, everybody.
They probably won't even be aware of the break that we've just had.
No, because this will go out. This is as soon as it's done, like the audio and the video. This will go out like right away to catch on. It's like the algorithm that's still like circling on social media.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So no, we took a little break. Not a break because of anything bad. We break because something good. Because Sam's been traveling. He's been working. And our social media, if you guys don't follow us already, follow us on Patreon, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. We're not on Facebook, but we're on all the others. We get some comments. It's like, well, let us know what Sam's working on. So when it comes into like the festivals or even like the mainstream stuff or streaming, we can watch it. So we've had some people that commented like they found, what's that show that was on Amazon Prime? Mythica.
Just lost power. That was really weird.
You said that? I don't know.
Yeah. Well. Okay.
So good. We still recording?
I mean, the camera's fine, but the monitor we're looking at that we look at and make sure everything's all there. It just did something weird. I've never seen that before. It was like a power surge of some sort.
Oh, the Mythica.
The Mythica.
The Mythica power surge. The Mythica power surge.
It was the dark matter. So, okay. So
they saw Mythica on Prime. A few people saw Mythica on Prime.
Did they see the right one?
They saw a Mythica that you can find on Prime.
There's a difference.
Which one did you do?
I did Mythica Stormbound.
Stormbound.
It's the 6th movie.
Okay. Are they all on Prime?
I think so.
Okay. Mythica Stormbound. Very important. That's the best one.
I've never seen any of the other ones.
Okay. Guys, got it. Mythica Stormbound. We've had some people.
There may or may not be a reason for that.
You want to go into that more?
Just not my type of film.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
But
very well shot.
But Mythica Stormbound, I would go and watch that one.
Yeah. And for the cinematography alone.
I liked it.
We've had some people comment because we always post. Jason's really good about just posting when there's a Sweet Molly showing, and so we get some people. It's like, I can't make this one, but keep posting which festivals it's at. We had one person comment who was like, I saw this in Provo, and one in Provo where you spoke at it
in Provo. I spoke at it.
You spoke at one, and it was you, JC. And you won an award for something.
Oh, yes. I know what that was.
And someone handed you the mic and you spoke. And someone was like, I was there.
Yes. Utah International Film Festival.
Okay. And so we get comments where it's like, well, keep us updated on like what's in the pipeline as far as like the Blue Horizons. What's your company called?
Infinite Horizons.
Infinite Horizons.
I mean, that's just my business name I work under.
Yeah. So what have you been? Tell us what you've been doing and why we took a little break.
Oh man, well, not to sound cliche, but when it rains, it's porous, and when it's a drought, it's pretty dry, and that has just been never more true than now. It was a start of a busy year, and then it dipped down a little bit, and then everybody everywhere all at once wanted to do something, which is great, but it was a lot at once. Uh, a TV pilot that we're shooting to hopefully get picked up, a 6 episode series that I start shooting in May, and then I've had like 3 or 4 commercials in between those. Some I've already shot, some I have yet to shoot. I start on one tomorrow. But the TV pilot that we filmed and are shooting, it's something that's new, and it's obviously not out yet. We're hoping the whole show will get picked up. But essentially, I was in Nashville, Tennessee, filming with Greg Camp, who is a lovely human being. And he was
Where have I heard that name?
the guitarist for Smash Mouth for a very long time. No longer plays with them, but was their lead guitarist, and he wrote all of the hit music that you hear. Now the names are blinking.
Then the morning comes.
Then the morning comes.
Good morning.
Might as well be on the sun.
Somebody once
yes.
told me the Shrek song.
Somebody. What is that? Why is that blinking?
Oh, well, let's find.
I just spent this whole week with him. Now
that's why we got the laptop here.
I feel embarrassed.
Somebody once told me Smash Mouth. All Star. Oh my gosh! Of course. Oh my god! Hey, now you're All-Star.
Anyway, so we were with him, kind of hearing a little bit about his story and who he is as a person, and kind of what he's up to now, but also just hardships that he's kind of been in and how he's gotten through them and why it's made him a better person. And then the secondary part of that, and our monitor keeps going out, that is freaking me out. But the second part of that is there is a guitar builder that does these amazing high-end custom guitars that he builds from wood that is all over the world. And he's building a custom guitar for each celebrity artist on the show. So his name's Robert Rask, and Rask Guitars is his business. Incredible guitars. Go check him out. So anyways, that's what we've been working on in Nashville. And that's been awesome. And then a few different commercials. And then I have another series that's shooting in May, the whole month of May, and then some of July in Virginia, May's in Utah, and then a little bit back in December when it's actual winter, and we're going to film some winter scenes. And anyways, that's like 296 pages that we're shooting, which is a lot. Most feature films are 90 pages long. So
why so many on this one?
It's a 6-episode series. So they're about 45 to an hour long each.
So it's like 6 movies.
Basically, yeah. So it's a lot. And there's a lot of prep that has gone into it, and I'm even behind on my prep, like, because I've done this Nashville TV pilot and then these commercials, and so I'm just been trying to keep my head above water. And it's Tyler knows full well I've just I have just disappeared on the radar. So it's been a hectic time, and I'm tired, but I'm like, this is what I signed up for, so I can't complain, and I'm working. So that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then, and on top of that, starting pre-production on Miseria with J.C. McNaughton, who did Sweet Molly, and his wife Mila. She wrote this script, and JC's adapting it and will direct it. So anyways, we're in post-production on that, and in June we'll be when that kind of launches and do an announcement, because we've got to do some crowdfunding. And yeah, man, it's just been a wild ride.
Well, to finish off on
So we're
the
back.
Miseria thing, when that seed
and spark.
when that seed and spark hits, we're gonna ask you all for help to share the shit out of that thing so we can get that film funded. So we'll be pushing that out a lot. Watch for it on, which is perfect because like right now, if you guys have been following us on social media, we're almost exclusively The Last of Us content right now because of the episodes we filmed. They're two of our longest episodes. With the new season coming out, there's a lot of Last of Us content that we're putting out. And when that season ends, that's when you guys launch your seed and
Spark.
Seed and Spark.
Have they announced how many episodes it's going to be?
Yeah, it's 7. 7, and it got renewed for season 3 before season 2 hit. And so what I've heard is, I don't know where they're going to end it, but it's going to end halfway through The Last of Us Part 2 video game. Before the Rat King. So that's where we're at. Very excited. But, so it will end sometime at the end of May, start of June. And so once that season spark hits, we're back to like a regular posting our content of like a mix of like all the episodes. But we're really going to push that out. Push it out. Please share. Let people know. Donate if you can. We'll have a goal like on the website, right? And if you guys donate large amounts, we'll give you a shout out on the podcast. We want to get this thing funded. It's a great story. I know Sam and JC are very passionate about it. And so we need your help to get this thing, get the word out. And you guys have been loyal to us. You guys have followed us. Help us to make this film a reality. Because if there's one thing that we love on this podcast, it's independent film and independent movie.
Yeah, and it's like it's an important story that deals with like a lot of real mental health issues that have kind of stemmed in the lives of many people, but also our writer Mila and JC. And so it's a super, relevant topic and issue, and hopefully it will help bring some awareness, but also shine a little bit of light in the darkness sometimes, and all dressed up as a horror film. So should be a good time.
Cool. Yeah, so follow us on our social media pages about this. We'll push out the page for the film itself, add some benefits, like depending on like the amount that you give. If you can spare those change, $5, $10. If you give $1,000, maybe we invite you on the podcast. You can come hang out with me and Sam, tell your story here, or even like just freaking pick your favorite movie and we'll fucking talk about it. I don't know. Give $1,000 to your film. Maybe we'll talk about it. But in the meantime, Sam, we got back from a film today that I know both you and I are really excited about when we did our start of the year where we talked about most anticipated movies. This movie came up, and we just got done with A24’s Warfare. What did you think?
Oh man, I really enjoyed it. Like I really liked it. It was a heavy film. It was a hard watch in that it was just the raw realities of warfare, right? I think a lot of films kind of glorify a little bit the idea of war, and they make it shiny and while showing kind of like the sucky parts of it, but also just really amping up the cool sides of it, right? And everybody loves a good gunfight on screen. But this one is different. This one is, you don't enjoy the gunfight on screen because it's not an enjoyable time. And the whole idea of the film is basically there's an event that happened on a day in Ramadi during the war where all of these soldiers went through an attack, and this is the film being made based on all of their memories of what happened that day. So it's a collection from each different person of what they felt like, and even just even there's a few different point of views that it kind of cuts through between these soldiers. But I think it was a really well made film. You know, it's something that Alex Garland came right off of Civil War into making this. And so I know some parallels between that, but overall, really liked it. It is not like a film that you walk out of like pumped, but you walk out somber and with an air of respect for the people that choose to go to war for the protection and defense of our country. And I remember thinking as I was watching it, a little bit of shame and guilt for thinking as a kid, like how cool would it be to just go to war and kill the bad guys, and just not have a damn clue of what that is. And even seeing this film doesn't actually even show you, like, it just depicts what it's like. But there's no way anyone is walking out of that film or any film knowing and feeling like they just got out of a gunfight in war with casualties, you know? And um, yeah, it was an interesting film. It was a little different than what I thought, but at the same time, it was kind of exactly what I anticipated it was going to be. So I enjoyed it. What about you? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it too. I think first, I think A21 always A24 always does a really good job of the media they put out. Even like the media that I wouldn't be super interested in, like that horror film that they're doing that I won't see. I'm sure it'll be well done. Um, and this was too. It's almost like there's a couple takeaways I took of it. Was just for one, like they're kids. Like, just come on, politicians, man. Before you start a war, I mean, think about like that they're kids. Like when you start these wars and you tout like strongest military presence in the world. We should show like a force of strength. Look at this. Like there's a bunch of kids, man. A bunch of kids, and a lot of them. Like if you study like um, who makes up our military, is it's a lot of like those who may have like socioeconomic um, problems, and the military is an option for them to get college paid for, to get a job right away. Like there's a song, I remember who the song is, but I'll add it in the credits where it's not the rich kids that go to war, it's the poor kids. And they were just kids. Like these actors did such a good job. They're youth, and so when all this stuff happens, and I think you definitely need to see it in the theater. It's not one that you can stream.
Nah.
Don't fucking watch it on an airplane. Like this has to be seen in the theater, because like, I don't know about you, but like when the IED hit the tank, it was like a sensory overload for me. Where I was like, I mean, the muffled sounds, the bullets, the blood, the screams. Like as people like in the theater, I was like, I don't know what I'm like. My senses are just overloading right now, and I'm just seeing what's on screen. The graphicness of like the violence, the sounds, and there's something that I think, from what I've heard past soldiers talk about in these kind of situations, is also the smell of the dirt, the smell of the sweat, the smell of a rotting body, like all these like senses like hitting you at once. And these kids all kind of handle it different, Like you got the one guy who's just really fired up and it's like, "You're a SEAL, you're a frogman, you can do this." You got one guy that's just shell shocked, where it's just he's this close to having a mental breakdown. It's doing everything in his power to just not lose his crap right there. You have the one soldier who can't focus on his radio. He can't focus on other people. He just has to focus about the one person in front of him. And then you get like the leaders in there. That's like, okay, it's chaos, but I got to be the anchor here to manage this whole situation. And like they're kids, like they're handling this extremely traumatic situation like kids, and each one of them is doing it so differently. And what I really enjoy about this film is I kept waiting for the scene where it's like, the guy that's kind of in charge, he goes up to the roof and he snipes 10 Taliban, gives him a break for 5 minutes. He breaks down a door and he saves his buddies or whatever. And it just never happened. Like, there was no heroic moment. There was no kick ass, like, kill the tallies, whatever. It was.
I would say like there's no idealized heroic moment.
Yes, yeah. There's a lot of heroic moments in this film, but you're stereotypical of like there's one soldier that steps up and just he kills 20 Taliban soldiers and gives them a break till the tanks come. That never came. Like the gunfight were there, but I would say the gunfights it wasn't that entertaining. What's entertaining is you're kind of seeing how these people are going to survive this moment, and I think this film really shows you like the cost of war.
Yeah,
Like not only just like mentally, physically, financially. Like I can't be like they did 3 or 4 shows of force. It can't be cheap to fuel those jets. But even like there's all these characters in this film. There's all these soldiers. There's these Taliban soldiers, and then there's this family. It's just caught in the middle. Like they're not Taliban. They're not Al Qaeda. They're not ISIS. Whatever people are fighting, they're just there. And they're the real victims of this film because their house is destroyed. They're traumatized. They have no idea what's going on. And I think that's just like the true cost of war is the innocence. It really has no. And then we hit Americans. They're just trying to like live their life day in and day out. And next thing you know, they got no house. Like who knows like what the Taliban thinks of them now. And the whole film, it was just. I feel like it was the closest thing to the reality of what that situation is probably like.
yeah, yeah. And I was just struck by the woman at the end, right? Like this whole time the whole time there's a translator to communicate between the two because they can only speak their language and they can only speak their language, and only a translator in between, right? And neither of them are speaking the other's language except for like the translators. And then after all of that aftermath, as they're escaping the home, the mother of that family, she just keeps crying out, why, an unanswered why. And there's no response to her. There's no response at all, right? And I think like that is also part of that cost of war is there's an unanswered why is this happening? Uh, and there might be times when you can point to well, here's why, because this asshole just bombed, right, American soil. So we're going to go in and fuck him up and put an end to that, right? And we can put that, but also why did that asshole do that in the first place? And it's just a rabbit hole, and there might be no other reason. There might be no reason at all to explain it. And I think that is also a wound of war, is not having any rhyme or reason why some of these individuals are stuck in the middle of the fire. And that's pretty heartbreaking.
Yeah. Yeah, like what would I do if that was us? If there's like this war going on where we live and we're just kind of caught in the crossfire and like the end credits roll and they kind of show like the behind the scenes, and like Sam said, it's a collection of memories based on the people that were there, and you kind of see like the toll it took on some of those people, like the main guy in this film, who is his name is Sam, played by Joseph Quinn, which has been awesome to see him in all these kinds of things since he kind of became famous on Stranger Things. You see, like the cost, like it cost him his legs. Like he's on this film set in a wheelchair, hanging out with these soldiers and all these different people. And I think in a war film like this, having the people that survived it come and kind of mentor the actors of like, well, don't hold your gun like that. No one's gonna buy it. Or like when you're directing this film, like you can't really hear, so like the sound is muffled for a second, but you can hear the screams, but the gunshots are a little bit muffled. Like I really just like, there's Will Poulter, Joseph Quinn, and then there's a guy, Michael Gandolfini. That's a badass last name. Look at this guy. I just got done watching him in Daredevil Born Again, and he was great as like this little mobster that works for the mayor's office. And I thought he was great in this film. I thought everybody was great. Everybody held such a I think, a reverence for like what happened there, because you have people that are coming and actually lived it.
Yeah.
You just got to feel such a, like you talked about when JC was here, like getting input from like that community of the people that actually survived what you guys were portraying in film, and like speaking from someone on the outside, that's got to just give you such a reverence for like what you're creating, of like, as us actors, filmmakers, creators, and these people actually live the experience. Like, we have to do this thing justice and do it right, do it well, hold the gun the right way, or make the dress or do the hair the right way. And I really just got that vibe that everybody involved in this film was like, because it's not a long film, and it takes place, in a little apartment, a two-story home, but you could just tell that there was a respect for the people that came into this movie, knowing that they were going to portray something heroic, horrific, and they want to do it right.
Yeah, and I think that's like when you said reverence, even I as an audience member, the way I felt was a horrific reverence to warfare from a purely civilian standpoint. It was like, I don't want to have to deal with that, right? And shame on me if I've ever like thought it's no big deal to go to war, or anyone can do it, or shame on anyone who does do it. It's like, anyone who has not been there and experienced it has literally no authority to speak on anything about warfare. And especially for people who shit on it, and shame the people that go in to do it. And it's like, you guys don't even have a fucking clue of the sacrifice that was just made on your behalf, so that you can be an asshole, so that you can enjoy your freedom as an American, and just give the birdie finger to everybody that keeps the walls up. So you're safe at home at night. But go ahead and tell them to fuck off.
Or call them cowards. Like, one of the things that really, like, it's horrific. Like, the whole situation, it shouldn't happen, but it happens. It's real. And so, like, I remember a few years back, there was like this controversy where the movie American Sniper came out. Chris Kyle, Bradley Cooper, and it was an amazing movie, heartbreaking. And someone from Hollywood, Seth Rogen, was like, "Well, I think Chris Kyle's a coward. Like, who just uses a sniper rifle and snipes his enemies from 400 yards away." Like, come on.
That's real.
Yeah,
That's
like,
a real
that's
quote.
a real. I mean, that's not exactly the real quote, but that's what,
That's
like,
the sentiment.
Yeah, that's the sentiment it said. Look it up real quick.
Dude, that's so jacked up, man. And it's like someone like that who I don't know Seth Rogen's life, but I know he hasn't gone to war. So maybe shut up.
Rogen tweeted that American Sniper reminded him of a propaganda film about a sniper in Inglourious Basterds, where the Nazi film showed a sniper with high lethality. Seth Rogen's comments about the American Sniper sparked controversy when he tweeted, I just read that. While he later clarified that he wasn't comparing the two films and apologized for any offense caused, the initial tweet was misinterpreted as a comparison to Nazi propaganda and drew criticism from conservative outlets and celebrities. Chris Kyle, Navy SEAL, whose memoir in the film was based on, was already a controversial figure before the film, with debates about his book and his life continuing after his death. There you go. And there's a bunch of, I guess he did apologize.
So he apologizes.
But, I mean, it's people like people in warfare, the American Sniper, that allow people like Seth Rogen to tweet stupid things. And this was a tweet from 10 years ago, so
yeah,
let's not cancel them over that. But people say stupid shit sometimes.
Yeah, I remember when I was at. It reminds me of a dude who I knew in undergrad, and he might have he was in our same congregation. Big dude, was a Marine.
Hmm.
And there was this time in one of the classes at the university where I don't know the full details, but essentially this guy had gone and served as a Marine, and he was a fucking grunt, right? First one, one of the first ones in to just get shit done, and uh, and he was a hard dude. I mean, literally, he said the only reason I joined the military is because I wanted to kill people legally, and it's kind of fucked up,
But it's not unique. Like that's
but
been
it's
confirmed to me by others.
yeah, it's not unique, and it's like you want those type of people to go defend your country. You don't want them to just mindlessly kill people, but you do want them to kill the ones that need to be killed, right? Like the terrorists, the ones that, like the butcher that is an American sniper that they talk about. Like those people, you want someone like that who's like, I'm just going to go kill that motherfucker. You want them just to go and do it, right? You need people like that to do that. And I hate that I even have to say that out loud, but like that's
real.
That's real. Anyways, one time in class, one of the professors or said, I don't know if it was a history class or something, they were talking about war and they were going to show something. And then one of the students just kind of blurted out, why do we have to watch a thing about war? We all know what it's like. And this dude was in that class. And he stood up and he turned to me and he said, hey, have you been to war? And he goes, well, no. And he said, well, I have, so shut the fuck up.
Good for him.
And it was just silence, right? And he just basically said, you don't have a fucking clue. You have no idea what war is like. So shut your mouth. And it was just like the worst thing that you could ever say, right? To someone in that regard. But he was just a hardened dude, man. And I, at the end of the day, I'm grateful for those people who are willing to, go and serve the country and fight terrorism, and fight and help. And I know warfare is such a controversial topic, which is why this film is so interesting to make. But yeah, I mean, do we all wish that we don't that there was no war? Absolutely. That no one would ever have to go to war? Absolutely. But that is not a reality that we live in, and I hate to say it, but I don't believe that will ever be a reality that will ever exist.
No.
And so, who's the people that will think that they can go and do it? And it's these young 18, 19-year-old, young early 20s that think they're invincible. And because they think they're invincible, a lot of them do these incredible things, and then in the same breath, some of them get a harsh reality check that they're not invisible, and shit happens and they get really hurt or they die, and it's sad.
Yeah.
But you need someone who, I mean, it showcased those two guys where a guy was like, you're a frog man, get up, bro. Like, I don't care if your legs are gone. Like, there's still war and you got to fucking fight. And it's like, we do need that, man. We do need that mindset to survive and win. But also we need the mindset of the guy who's like, dude, shut up, man. Like,
Yeah, let's do breathe for a second.
The dude, his legs are gone. Like, don't fill him with bullshit right now. We're trying to diffuse the situation. Like, this is not helping.
Yeah. Don't make him feel guilty for not being able to walk with no legs.
Exactly. And obviously both people are sitting there thinking that they're trying to help and be the best thing that they can be for that person in that scenario, right? Yeah. And that's what I appreciated about this is like everyone had this different scenario, this perspective of what happens. There's the moment in the film when the guys like call in evac, call in the second evac, and they call on the radio and they go, the last time we called evac, those tanks got fucked up by IEDs. We have to wait for approval from the CO, which I'm assuming is their chief officer,
commanding officer,
and So he reports back. He's like, they're not sending him. And he's like, get back on the radio, tell him you're the CO and you approve it. And you can tell he's kind of like, can I do this? Should I do this? Well, shit, I'm gonna do this. And he pretends he's the CO and calls it in, and then they respond back to him, hey, it's been approved. You know, good to go. And it's like, is that following orders? No. And could that have led to catastrophe? Absolutely. But did it save those men's lives? Also, yes. So what do you do in a situation like that, right? And I think that's why people who haven't been there, haven't experienced it, and talk as if they know what it's like or have the answers, just don't have a fucking clue when you're sitting in a room and some asshole throws a grenade through the window.
Yep. There's a saying that's like everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face. Mike Tyson said that. Everyone knows how things are supposed to work until things go bad, and then nobody knows what the hell's going to go on.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about like warfare being controversial in the anti-trafficking space. It's very controversial because American soldiers commit crimes overseas. They rape women. The whole red light industry in Bangkok got started because of the Vietnam War, and soldiers looking for a good time from Vietnam to travel to Thailand, and then grows this massive sex industry in Thailand. And so warfare,
Which is so sad and horrific.
It is. I want that very clear. But bad shit happens in every industry in the world.
Yeah.
Not just soldiers. Let's throw it into your world. Hollywood, bro. Like freaking.
There's plenty of rape and trafficking and all sorts of shit in the industry.
Can you give me a worse predator than Weinstein? Harvey Weinstein, dude, like it exists in every industry. And so are there bad apples in the military? Yeah. Are there bad apples in every industry? Yeah. I mean, you want to talk about, you throw in a religious community, you throw in construction, you throw selling private security, you throw in whatever, there's bad apples in it.
Is there bad apples in your own bloodline? Yeah. Everybody knows somebody that's like they don't want to talk about.
Yep. It's the relative that we don't talk about. Two, which one thing I really enjoyed about this film was, I just lost my train of thought, so I might have to come back to this, but there's the bad apples in every industry. What was my other train of thought? I actually lost it.
You started out with just how things were fueled by terrible.
Oh, I got it back.
Yeah.
Warfare. You talked about how the world will never be free of war. I 100% agree with that. There's philosophies out there, like the one in Mexico. I'm going to throw Mexico under the bus right now. Mexico is in a war right now with the narcos that live in Mexico that kills probably 50,000 people every single year. And the current policy of the government is what these people need are hugs and not bullets. That's their policy. Hugs, not bullets. And what's happened, there's more drugs than ever. There's more killings than ever. They just found this camp in Mexico that was essentially like a narco training facility. We would bring families in, and they would either train you to kill to be a narco, or if you didn't, they would shoot you, put you in some kind of gas chamber, and have your body just go away, and all that's left is your clothes. These people are Nazis. So obviously, hugs and not bullets isn't working. There are some people that only understand violence, and these people, the only way that their hand can be stayed is a show of force and a show of violence. So like you said, like the time of war, I don't think will ever stop, because there's always going to be just shitty people doing shitty things. And the only way that you stop those people, unfortunately, is you have to show them a force of violence as well, because that is the only language that these people understand. People like the Taliban, or these people like these drug traffickers in Mexico, or whoever. Like, unless someone punishes them for doing what they do, and sometimes that means killing them, like in terrorism, there ain't no stopping them, because you will not hug a person into not wanting to kill a specific person or not wanting to do harm to a specific person. It's just not real. You have to show like that show of force. And like I feel bad even saying this, but I think it's the reality of the world that we live in, is that there would never be a time where war is not utilized and war is not needed, because that is a language that some people, that's the only language that they understand, is violence.
And I think there's a lot of money that is fueled by war. And so,
Yeah.
because of the greed of man and the love of money, and always the insatiable desire for power and more, whether whatever that is, but in this case, money, war fuels that. So it won't stop because people, and like we talked about with Pablo Escobar, people in this world, some of them just can't get enough. It will never be enough, and they will just continue their tyranny until they're ended. And obviously, uh, that's a shitty reality, but it is a reality. And so, I mean, the I'm grateful for like the service folks that go in and do this. I mean, I always wanted to go in the military when I was a child. Always growing up, I wanted to be a sniper. All like, I mean, I fantasized about that, and that idea of just going and being a sniper, and I loved war films, and I loved war games, and I played, uh, like a dear friend of mine and his family, and they had this big open backyard. We used to go and play war outside, and we would build forts, and we had all camo and all that, and like for hours and hours. And I remember I would sit in a bush for hours, literally waiting to not be seen, right? Would set booby traps just as a kid, in case there was, intruders, make believe bad guys, right? And I remember when I was a sophomore in high school, I was at the gym and I met this guy, and he was just this big dude, just big beard, big guy, hardened tats. Uh, and he just was like, you don't want to fuck with this guy. And he probably was in his late 30s, maybe early 40s. And his name was Mark. And uh, he was a power lifter. And I was chatting with, like, we became kind of friends, and he kind of took me on and helped me learn how to lift a little bit. And I remember telling him one time, because as I learned about him, he was a Marine, and he was a Marine in the back seat with that 50 cal turret. He was the guy there, just making it rain, hellfire behind that thing. And I remember talking to him about, oh yeah, I want to be a Marine Corps sniper. And I mean, I even went on the websites and like signed up for this stuff, right? Because you're 18, you have to wait, but you get your name in the system and all of that. And I remember one time he said, "All right, so how about this? You're with your convoy, you're moving through the streets, and you turn a corner, and there's a young 10-year-old, 12-year-old kid with an AK-47 in his hands. What do you do?" And I kind of thought, well, and he goes, "You're dead."
Jeez.
And like, I just kind of froze. And in my mind, I'm like, what do you mean I'm dead? But I knew what he meant.
You waited too long to think about it.
I waited too long to think about it. And there are some situations that you don't have time to think. You just have to act. And if it wasn't that kid, then it's me. Or the guy next to me, right? And I think it was then when I realized, I don't know that I'm cut out for it, and he just said, you have, like, in that scenario, you have a kid, you're in the streets of Iraq and Ramadi, and out around the corner comes this 12-year-old with an AK-47 in his hands, you know, like, with the intentions to use it and kill you. It doesn't matter who's behind that gun, right? You have to act, and you have to make a split second decision. And is that an easy decision? No. And
that's what the Taliban counts on.
yep.
Is that your morality is slowed by their evil of putting that AK-47 in that kid's hand, and you end up dead. Yep. They do not care about. So, like, how do you answer that? The only language that those people understand is violence.
Yeah. So that was like the turning point for me, where I was like, I don't know that I think I'm cut out for this. But I've had friends that wanted to continue and that did go and do the Marines and did do that and have come home and in fact, my best friend growing up that we would play those war. We just called it war in his backyard. He went and he served in the Marines. He went and did it and then came home and then served as a police officer for a while and now he's kind of retired to do something else. But it's like, damn, right? I don't have a damn clue what it's like in warfare, and I think this film did a really great job in the same way that Civil War was purely subjective. Like, it didn't make you pick a side. It wasn't like leaning you to pick on one side or another. It was just, you're seeing what happens in this scenario, just the rawness of it. And then you just have to sit and be in it. And I just like watching Warfare Today, just the tension and also from a filmmaking perspective, I'm just like, this was so well done in creating this narrative point of view of these soldiers in this situation and in warfare, and from multiple figures. But there was no soundtrack to the film. The soundtrack of the film was just the streets of Ramadi and whatever sounds come from the streets of Ramadi and who you're around, is the music that rings out. And it's just this, at times, like gunfiring that's harrowing, but even more harrowing than the gunfire is the silence. Because you don't know what's around the corner. Why did it just stop? Like, who, right? And it's just like you don't want to move. You just kind of get locked up. I felt locked up. I'm like, fuck. What do we do in this situation, right? And I'm just sitting there in a recliner. So I think that was very well done from a filmmaking standpoint perspective of trying to, in the very slightest way possible, if it is even possible, to have you have a front row seat in warfare, right? Without actually experiencing at all what warfare is like.
Yeah, and I'm gonna give you two recommendations of shows we need to talk about on the podcast. It's because there's the warfare and there's the effect that warfare has on the people that are involved. One, The Punisher, John Bernthal, Disney Plus. He was a Marine, and a lot of what he does and how he engages with the world that he lives in is because of his experience in warfare. It's done really well. The other one that I'll plug is I think one of the top 5 TV shows on TV currently. It just ended last year. It's called SEAL Team on Paramount Plus. It stars David Boreanaz from Bones, and it is amazing. 7 seasons, all really well done, produced by former Navy SEALs, and so the action is fairly close to warfare, maybe just a tiny bit less graphic because it's for cable TV until Paramount Plus picked it up, and then it goes back to stuff very similar to warfare. And just really good of what happens when you come home and you have to go back and do this over and over and over again, because this is one deployment, right? SEAL Team talks about what happens when you do this 40 times over the span of 5 years. What does it look like for your wife, for your kids, for your ex-wives, for whoever else you're coming back home to? Because you experience you have an experience like that, near death, or you see somebody die that you care about, and then you come home and your family maybe expects the same person to come home, but it's not the same person. And you continue to go back, come back. And how the best part of that show, SEAL Team, 7 seasons on Paramount Plus, is not just the bond that you have doing that with people that you care about, but how it affects the people that are closest to you when you come back home. Really amazing series. You should totally watch it. 7 seasons though, so it'll be
a long one.
Yeah, we'll probably when things die down, you get a chance to breathe again. But it's one of my favorite TV shows of all time. The next thing is one thing they got right, and I'm not military, I'm not law enforcement, but I've been on law enforcement operations catching predators. And there was one in Clearwater, Florida that we did, where essentially there's a bunch of cops doing online investigations, waiting for pedophiles to show up to the house. And then I'm on site just in case they encounter a victim. And there was a lot of sitting on your ass. And I thought that the first part of this film portrayed that really well, where the first 25 minutes of this show are basically them just sitting on their ass, bullshitting, peeing in jars. And anyone that's been associated at all with government work in that kind of sphere, it's just a whole lot of sitting on your ass. So I really appreciated that detail in the first 25 minutes. The other one is, and this is, a shout out to, our fans and our followers. One of my favorite parts of the movie is actually the first 3 minutes where they watch that music video and they're all having a good time and they're enjoying just this little bit of joy that they get from watching this music video. And I was like, in life, you just got to find the enjoyment sometimes, where you can find it. Because life is sometimes, you know better than anybody, it's sometimes you're just kicking ass and you're taking names and you're on top of the world and you just feel like you're God, right? And there's other times where getting up in the morning is really hard. And going to bed at night gives you anxiety because you know that is going to be the best part of your day. And then you have to wake up and start over again. And when you get a new email, sometimes it gives you crazy anxiety because you don't know what's coming through. Or even just a phone call you don't recognize, or whenever you don't recognize, could be a debt collector. It could be, it could be whatever. And so these guys, in the situation that's horrific, are finding little moments to where they can find some kind of joy and satisfaction and just kind of let loose for a bit. And if Locked Off Logic does that for y'all, I want you to know that you guys are welcome here. You guys are safe here. Some of these conversations are serious. Sometimes they're funny. Sometimes people disagree with us, like the Captain America Brave New World, which is fine. If you hate us for our takes, that's fine. You're still welcome here. If you get some kind of enjoyment out of this podcast, like I know you and I do, in this crazy world we live in, just know that you're welcome here. And if your lives are tough and you get to spend a couple hours with us on the treadmill or on a commute or on a walk, we're happy to have you. And we hope that this podcast gives to you what that music video gave to those soldiers. Just a second to just kind of step back from reality, find meaning in stories, and hear two guys in a garage, which the garage is a big hit, by the way. It gives people say it gives a very good vibe. And just come hang with us, and we hope if it provides a safe space for you, then we're happy. We're happy to have you listening, checking us out, because we know that life sometimes, for a lot of people, us included, maybe doesn't look like war, like these guys experience, but it can be hard, it can be sucky, it can be long and anxious and whatever. And if we give you a couple hours to where you can just chill with us, and it gives you some kind of hope and meaning in these stories, or just something to just listen to, so you don't have to be stuck with your own thoughts, then you're welcome here.
Totally. And not I hope this doesn't come across the wrong way, but not not to compare, because no one should compare to anybody else's situation, because no one is anyone else but themselves, and so they only have their limited perspective, and also have their own tolerances, so everyone experiences something completely different and uniquely, right? But I think it's somewhat safe to say, for the most part, you're not really in a situation like these young men were in this scenario. And I'm not saying that makes your situation any less, but I think it should just help you take a breather and just say, you know what,
Could be worse.
it could be worse. Not to downplay what situation you are in, but it could be worse, and you could be in a really, really bad spot in a hellhole in the streets of Ramadi, right? And your legs are gone. Fortunately, that's probably not you right now in this situation. So just take a breath. It's probably not that serious. Your brain is probably compounding that, and the anxiety is probably compounding it. But not that it's not a real problem either. But just take a breather. It's going to be okay, right? And um, there probably is someone that's pretty close by that if you need an evac, they'll come your way without being killed.
I think that's another good message of the film is yeah, you're right. Like maybe, well, most likely, more likely than not, like you're not in a war zone.
Yeah.
But maybe you got a boss who's an asshole, and he's the one that's taking shots. He's trying to get you fired. Maybe you live in a situation where there's abuse, where the Taliban in this film is actually an abusive husband, abusive dad, abusive wife. Like yeah, and whoever the villain is, like in that story, and this film, like it shows maybe the peak of masculinity, right? Like just these soldiers who give up their lives to defend their country, and they ask for help. They had the balls to ask for help. Of like, you know what, we are at our limits. We are in trouble. And like the scene where it's like the head soldier from one team meets up with the head soldier of another team, and he was like, "Bro, I'm fucked up. I need you to be commander of all of us right now." Like for a guy that's used to being the badass in a group of badasses, that's probably really hard for him to ask for help. And even he did it. So like when you talk about like the evac being close and available, I think for everybody, like it doesn't make you weaker to ask for help. It makes you stronger. And it's hard. It's hard to ask for help, and it's probably the bravest thing that some of us can do. But if these guys in this film can recognize, you know what, I'm a little out of my depth here. We're in trouble. I'm in trouble. I need help, and be able to call for help. I mean, help's never that far away.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I like overall. I just really, really uh, think that this film was well made, and I think it did do what was intended in honoring these people that go to war, and also the ones that run into the fire to save those that need help, right? And even at the end credits, there was in memory and honor of
Elliot.
For Elliot, but even later it was
yeah.
like for I don't know what they call it. I forget what it's called, like the something stoppers who never fail the call to help.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
So, anyways, like I just think it did a great job in honoring them and what they intended to do, and I think it was just to, yeah, one by best of memory, just tell this story in honor of these people and these individuals, and then for, from a filmmaking perspective, I mean, it just was so masterfully done and thought out in terms of creating a narrative point of view. And sometimes that point of view changed from person to person, but ultimately it was the narrative point of view of these soldiers in this situation as a whole. But then it would go micro a little bit and go, it was this person at this time and this person at this time. But everything was so intentional and motivated, and even just from where the camera was. I mean, not even to mention like the sound design and everything that happened, like you talked about when the IED went off, and then it's just silence and ringing and buzzing, screaming, and it's screaming. And as it and that was different for each individual because of where they were and how much damage was done with hearing and how shell shocked they were, whatever. And that was really done. But the camera was just so grounded with them. It was none of these flashy moves where you have a camera that's doing these big sweeping wides and these things that really kind of just glorify and emphasize like action. It was like this camera was like it was like a soldier right there moving along with them, right? Or it was their own eyes of what they were seeing in front of them. And I just thought everything was done so well and so intentional, and that's why I really like him as a filmmaker, because he does create these very specific strong narrative point of views, and he utilizes all of the elements of storytelling in cinema to help support that vision of whatever it is. So for me, this film is like really fucking good from a filmmaking perspective. And from an entertainment perspective, I wouldn't say it's an entertaining film, but it's a it's an educational film, and I think it was really well made and still worth anyone's time.
And I like the length too. Like my sweet spot for a movie that I really enjoy is like 2 hours and 15 minutes ish, and this was well short of that. It was an hour and 30 minutes, and I honestly don't think I could have taken any more because it was such a sensory overload that it ended a good time, a really good, just like for an audience that hasn't experienced that. It's like let's not push these guys past their limit to where they're like, I never seen a war movie again. It's like no, we're gonna take you right to the limit of what you can handle and then end it, which I thought was great. And
Well, and think about it. I mean, the 90 minutes that we spent was pretty much the 90 minutes that they spent,
mm-hmm.
right? And that's just 90 minutes in a day of warfare.
Yeah, they start this at noon and they ended at 1:30, and it's like all day experience. Like their lives are changed.
What came before, what happened in the morning, and then what happened in the afternoon.
Yep.
This was just fucking noon to 1:30.
Yeah, so I think people should see. I think people should go check it out. For me, it's the best movie of the year so far that I've seen. I've only seen it. It's April, and so we haven't seen Sinners. We haven't seen some of the other things coming out. But I think out of the three that we've seen and reviewed on this podcast so far, with Brave New World and Mickey 17 and Warfare, I think Warfare is my number one at this point.
Yeah. I don't really remember what I've seen this year besides Mickey 17 and a lot of television.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, TV, Ben. We're eating good right now. We were talking about this before this. Andor comes out tonight as of this recording. This should go out, this week at some point. Andor, Last of Us, White Lotus, which I've never seen, but you have. Adolescence on Netflix. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Amazing. And frightening. Terrifying. Daredevil Born Again, which, I'm still planting the seed, y'all. Daredevil Born Again. I'm going through all my streaming services. Severance, The Studio,
Yep,
Invincible on Prime. We're eating. In fact, I got the picture for when we did the TikTok post. I can tell you. Stand by. We got, and maybe I deleted it already. What's the date today?
It is the 22nd of April. But not for you out there.
Gosh, now I can't find. Maybe I deleted the picture already. What was Sunday?
Sunday?
Yeah.
What's today? Tuesday?
That was Easter. Easter was
the 20th. The 20th?
Yeah. No, I can't find it. But we named off all these TV shows that we did today. I'm sure we're missing some too that we haven't even mentioned. The Pit. The Pit was another one that we talked about.
Yeah.
Severance. Okay, I found it. Invincible, The Pit, Born Again, Daredevil Born Again, Severance, The Studio, White Lotus, Andor, which comes out today. Adolescence, Dark Winds. I'm not a big fan of Dark Winds on FX, and then one that I forgot because we have to do a show on this is American Primeval.
Oh yeah.
So we've been eating good as like TV show people.
It's been a good year.
Yeah, I hope it
It
continues.
has been a good year.
I hope it continues with TV show, and then Reacher. That's the other one. Reacher from Amazon Prime. Reacher's a good one too.
Yeah.
And then I hope it just continues with movies because got a lot of good movies coming out. Yeah.
I think our next movie will be Sinners.
Yes.
I believe.
Yeah. Maybe we should go.
Because I don't know what any other movies are coming out.
Well, there's Thunderbolts.
Mm.
We'll see. Mission Impossible.
Oh yeah, I do want to see that.
There's Eddington, which is the new with Pedro Pascal, A24. But Sinners, yeah, maybe we should go like Sunday and then have like a Last of Us watch party or something.
Sunday I can't.
You going to church?
No, I don't do that anymore.
Oh, okay. What are you doing Sunday?
I just have all my family stuff on Sunday.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Sundays are like your Wednesdays for me, where it's like you don't. Okay, got it. Cool. We'll find a day because I'm hearing good things about Sinners.
Yeah. I had a whole group that went yesterday, the day before, and I couldn't go, but they all were like,
"You gotta go.
It's amazing."
When can you go?
Maybe Saturday. Depends on test shoots that I have, but Saturday's a potential.
Keep me updated.
Okay.
Cool. Well, Sam, you want to bring us home?
Well, it's likely that you're not going to find yourself in a warfare situation, but in the instance that you are or in prep for, be sure to tell someone that you love them.